Welcome to this week's episode of Humans in 5.
Something about staying at home and focusing on making our own food has had us both thinking a lot about our favourite things to eat and make in our kitchens. Something we both enjoy on a regular basis is fish. Battered, baked, pan-fried or cold, we do enjoy a bit of fish on our regular food rota.
Now, we're both well aware that not everyone shares this love of fish. A lot of people find the smell of fish truly disturbing and nauseating. For some people, this is only noticeable when you're up close and personal with fish, particularly when it's past its prime. For others, the smell alone is enough to turn them off of fish for a lifetime. Even we have to admit, when preparing fish at home, you often do try to get the rubbish out pretty quickly on that day.
So how come there's so much variation in how different people can tolerate the smell of fish? Some of it might be familiarity or past experience, but a team of researchers in Iceland were motivated to get to the bottom of how different people might experience this particular scent differently.
The team decided to survey over 11,000 Icelanders to get a sense of how they experienced the perception of fish odor. To do so, they focused on the molecule trimethylamine, which is particularly associated with fishy smells. They were also interested to see how people experience sweeter smells like licorice and cinnamon.
They asked participants to smell concentrated sticks imbued with a set number of strong scents, including fish, cinnamon, licorice, as well as banana, peppermint, and lemon. Participants had to rank the pleasantness and intensity of each odor. At the same time, the team took DNA samples from participants.
When looking at these DNA samples, the team focused on genes that help us detect or recognize certain chemicals. Overall, a very small number of participants liked or tolerated the fishy smell, about 2%. However, among that 2%, some people had a mutation for one gene that's particularly useful in identifying that fishy smell. People with this mutation instead smelled, for example, ketchup rather than stinky fish.
This raised some questions about what this gene variant might mean in terms of human evolution. In general, our ability to identify stinky smells may have provided us some benefits in the past. Being able to recognize bad odors may have helped our ancestors avoid, for example, foods that have gone off.
But Iceland might have provided the ideal testing ground to find people who were A-OK with fishy odors. With a long history of fish-oriented dishes, including items like fermented shark on local menus, it could be that the culinary history of Iceland made it more likely for people with this different scent perception of smelly fish to become more prevalent in the population.
In terms of licorice and cinnamon, the team also found that variation in the pleasantness ranking of these at times debated scents also seemed to be affected by some genetic variation in the perception of these smells as well.
It's not to say that genes are absolutely everything when it comes to smell. We do get used to and familiar with certain scents in our lives, and we tend to like those old familiar smells better than others. But it does seem that it might not all be in our cultures or our preferences, but a little bit in our genes as well.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Humans in 5.
And don't forget to subscribe.